everyone, Karen here, and today I'm going to be making a card with the Whirly wheel that Karen Burniston came out with. And once again, she came out with a fabulous die that has a wheel, it has a washer, a stick, this little piece here, which holds your stick in place, and this is your little cutout, because you do have to cut out the card. And when you put it together, it does this. And what this does, it allows you to have whatever you have on this stick going back and forth. You could do Halloween with ghosts and witches. I'm going to be doing a dragon today. You could have balloons. It's pretty endless of what you could possibly have on here. I saw one where somebody just attached the top of something and then it had a whole body here, so it looked like it was a whole big person dancing around the card. But there's all kinds of things you can do. But this piece goes together really easily. So what we're going to do is we're going to construct the base, everything that has to attach to the card. We're going to get the wheel on, and then we will decorate. Okay? So the pieces here, I have everything cut out. I have the stick. I have this piece, which I'm not sure if I'm going to use or not. I have the wheel, which I already cut out, and I did go through with a marker. I had this over the top. I left the die in there. Let me line it up. And I just traced the little arrows to go around. And there's the washer and that piece. This is a frame if you want to put something on there in a picture frame, because she always likes to add the extra little pieces so you can make a complete card. Now there is another way you can do this card where you don't use this piece here, where you cut a hole in the front of the card and then you slide the pole through here, but that's not the way I'm going to do it today. But there are two different ways to do it, and if you look on her website you'll see videos where she does it that way. Alright, so that's that. So I'm going to do the dragon and the knight, and then I'm going to use the pop-up castle, but I'm going to use it flat. So we're going to kind of Frankenstein this a little bit and make it a flat piece, but we're going to do that after we get the card base all set. Alright, so let's scoot this over here. So let's talk about the card base. So I have a 5x7, and I did cut the notch out of this one because I am going to have to cut another notch, and I just wanted to make sure it was going to go through the front and the back before I got carried away here. So it says on the directions that you need to cut this 1.5 inches from the bottom. And what you're going to do is this, let's see, is this little notch here, because she put a little notch in it. See that there? That's what you're going to line up for the 1.5 inches. So we're going to do that in a second. But let's get this ready so we can cut the other hole in it. So I have a piece of blue, which started off with plain blue paper that is 5x3. And I took some ink, and I went around this blue. Let me move this over just a little bit. With some sea glass, just to give it a little bit of a texture, because I didn't want it to be a flat blue. I wanted to have some parts lighter, some parts darker. Go around the edge and just make it look a little bit more like sky, just so there's a little bit of difference in there. It shows up more in real person. So I'll put that to the side. Now this is going to get glued to the top of the card. So once again, this is 3x5. And I'm going to glue this to the top, flush, like this. Like that. That's going to be our sky. Now on the bottom, I'm going to have some ground that I'm going to sit the castle and the knight on. So I have a 5x4. I have a 5x4, a 5x3, and a 5x2. Now you'll notice with the 5x2 and the 5x3, I've already cut a little edge here. Because when you look at the ground is never completely straight. So what you want to do is start with an upward motion and kind of just do a little curvy going across the top of your paper. You want to end with a down curve. If you end with an up movement, it just looks a little odd. So you always want to end with a downward movement. Alright, so now we have these three here. So now I want to ink a little bit of an edge on here. So I'm going to be using Fresh Asparagus by Gina K. So let me grab my blending brush, open this up, and I'm just going to go across the top just to make it a little bit darker. So when I stack these on top of each other, it just gives it a little bit more, I don't know, it just kind of gives it a little more depth, and it just kind of, you can see it a lot better. See the difference between piling these on top of each other and this? See, that it all kind of disappears. This you can see. Alright, so we'll do the same thing with the middle one. Oops, doing the wrong side. There we are. Alright, so see now, that looks more like ground. So now we'll do the 5x4. And just go across that. There we go. Just like that. Alright, so now these need to be glued together like this. So I'll take the bottom one. And this is why I cut the hole in the card base first, is because I wanted to make sure it was going to go through more than one layer of paper. And it absolutely will. There's two of them together. And we'll glue this one together. Let's get that lined up a little bit better. There we go. That's a little bit better. And this will go on here. I want that flush on the bottom. Okay, and this will be our little hillside. Our castle will go up here, and our dragon will be flying across the top. Alright. So this will go on here, like this. Alright, so as you can see, we need to cut this one. So we're going to look at the directions, make sure I'm cutting the right side. So I want to cut this side. I'm going to go up the 1.5 inches. So we will go up 1 inch, 1 1/4, 1.5. Come right to the edge. Put a little mark. This will go on here. Alright, so it did cut all the way through. Peel that off carefully, pull that out, and before we get carried away, let's make sure we're all good to go. And it's all lined up, good to go. Alright, now this part here is going to go up on foam, so let me put this to the side while we get this piece all situated. Alright, so we have our stick, we have our washer, and we have this. Alright, so let's look at the one I made. You can see how this goes together. So I have this top piece here. I'm going to push these little pieces to the back. I'm going to push the ends in just a little bit. You do want to use some pretty sturdy paper when you do this. And put the washer on and push that down. This piece goes in the top. We're going to put the little tabs down on this one. Push them in. Just a little bit. And this slides in the front. And then that goes back down. So then your back looks like that. And your front looks like this. And it's that simple. So now we're going to glue just the washer. You want to make sure you don't get any glue on these tabs, because you just want the washer to go around. I mean, to be stuck down, because the tabs need to be loose. So, some glue on here. I'm going to spread it around with my finger to make sure I'm not getting any on the circle. And I'm going to place this right here. Now I want to make sure I'm flush with this part outside of my card, because I don't want the wheel sticking out that far. And that just goes right here in the middle. You'll need to give that a moment to grab. And then the wheel should spin. I'm going to do it gently here at first, because that's still a little wet. And there's your arm. Now, the next thing you need to decide is how you want to restrain this arm. So this little piece here is let me grab the die, is this piece here. But when you fold it, you want to make sure you put your tab on the outside, because you don't want it to catch. You want to make sure the inside's nice and smooth. So just put a little dab of glue there. And we'll just hold that for a second. Give that a second to grab. Alright, so now we kind of need to decide how we want our dragon to fly here. So if you want him to come over further, let's say if he comes over here, then he comes down this way. Yeah, I think I kind of want him more toward the middle. So if he flies here, keep that down there. He'll come up this way, and then he'll go that way. Or you can put him more this way. And then when your wheel goes around, let's see, I'll have to turn it upside down. He'll fly that way, and then over that way. Okay, I think that's what I want. So I think I want it more over this side. So I'm going to put some glue on the back here. And I'm going to slide this over the arm. And I'm going to put this, I guess about here. And I'm going to glue it right there. Now I can see if I'm happy with that. Yep, so my dragon's going to fly up this way. And it's okay if he flies off the card, because you can start put it in the envelope where the dragon's over here. Then if he flies off the card, that's okay. Alright, so that looks good. Alright, so now we're ready to put the grass on. So the grass is going to be over here. And now you can see why you need to put this up on foam, because you do want to have this to have some space to move around. Now let me see. I'm going to try this with the thinner foam. Alright, let's see if the 1/16 foam will do it. So I can always put another layer of foam. Alright, so now we don't want to bother our stick here. So where we want to put the foam is here, here, and here. And maybe a little dab here and here, a small little square, just to hold it in place. Alright, so we're going to want, I'll just cut a piece off here. Make sure we're here. Alright, so we're going to put a piece down here. We're going to put a little piece over here, and I'm going to put this on the card base to make sure I'm not going to hit that. And I don't want to hit the wheel over here, so I'll put a little piece right here, because I know my grass is going to come up past the blue. So I'm good there. So then I want some here. So this will be here, and I want to go across the top here. Make sure I didn't come over too far. And I'm good. All right, so let's put this on. All right, we line this up flush. That is here. Now let's see. Oh, yep. The 1/16 foam is plenty thick enough to give this room. So that way your card's not too thick. So here we go. All right, 1/16 foam is plenty. So let's clean this up a little bit. Go on to the next part. Now we get to decorate. Put this away. I will keep my sample. And I would definitely put one of these together and keep it in with your dies. That way you can remember exactly how it goes together. All right, so now let's talk about decoration here. So we have our little dragon, and he's going to come on here like this. I have the castle, which we have to put together. I have my knight, which I have to put together. So let me move this ruler out of the way, and let's start with the knight. All right, so the knight has shoulder pads, and he has feet. And we'll slide that into place. And if you've never put one of these knights together, he has the one piece here, which is his body, and then he has his hands. The oval kind of half circle ones are his feet, and the circle ones are his shoulders. His shield has two pieces here. You'll see here and here. This is the flame for the dragon, which you'll see right here. This is a little tuft that you can put on the top of the knight if you want to. Then he has a sword, and this piece here goes across here. But his hands are a left and a right, so you do have to make sure you put them in the right place. Let's see, let me grab this hand and his other hand. Those in place. Whoops, knocked it off. There we go. Alright, now we have him. So now his shoulders. And the shoulders and the feet are the same. There isn't a left and a right. Ease that up there a little bit. There we go. All right, now this piece, you want to put it on. When you cut it out, you see you get a little bit of embossing here. Let's see. There you go. Now you can see. You get a little embossing here. So his little shield here covers that embossing. All right, just dab this a little bit. So he points up. And it goes right where that little piece sticks out. See where it sticks out here? You just cover that right there. There we go. There's our little knight. And if you want to, you can put the little tuft on the top of his head. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not. Now his shield is two pieces. This just goes in the middle. Like that. Now you can put this in his hand and his sword. So you could skip putting the hand on if you know you're going to put the sword, the shield in his hand. There we go. He's got his shield. Now his sword, I'm going to put the glue on top so I can make it look like he's holding it. I'm going to put it behind his hand, but in front of his body. Let me lift up the hand a little bit. There we go. Now once you have him holding it, you put a little bit more glue here. And secure it to his body. There's our little knight. Alright, now the little dragon, he's just 2 pieces. He has his body here, and then his little chest piece. And that's it. And I did go where these lines are. I did go in with a thin marker and trace all that. So he has his little details there, and that's the little dragon. Alright, so now he's all set. Alright, so let's talk about what I did with this castle, because I did chop it up. Now this piece here is the piece that makes the castle. So when I started, I had one piece like this. I cut out one, and that was way too long for what I needed. So I cut it to 5 inches, which gave me these 2 pieces here. So I said, okay, that will work. So I want this, and I'm going to layer it with this. But that looks weird with just 2. So I think I'm going to put 3. So I cut out another one, but I only cut out this part here, and I snipped the whole thing away just to leave a castle. And I'm going to do the same thing here with this piece that I cut. So I'm going to cut this piece away and this piece away, and that's just going to leave me with my little tower. There we go, just like that. Don't need those pieces. So then what I did is I cut out 3 of these roof pieces, and then once I cut it out, I took some honey mustard and I kind of inked along the top of this with all 3 of them. And this will get glued down. On the top, like this. I'm going to give that a second to grab, and then I'm going to ink over it to turn this gray into a darker brown. Okay, so then I was thinking, well, if I have this piece here, which is this piece here, I cut out 2 of those. I have one there, and I need to put another one on this one here. Now when you cut out that die, it's actually 2 different pieces, but I only wanted this piece. Let me show you. So this piece cuts out here, and then this is actually a second piece. It's just all on one die. So I have 2 of these. And we're going to put that over the windows. Like that. Alright, so now we have 2 of these. So now let me ink this. Bring in the honey mustard. I am going to put a second piece right here so I don't get that all messed up. And I'm going to make this whole thing brown. Just like that. There we go. Okay, so now we have this piece. So we have 3 towers, which are going to sit. That one will sit here. This one will sit here. And let me go ahead and glue those into place, because you have to put them there to match up where these little pointy pieces are, or else your castle will look a little weird. So that will fit there. This one will fit on this side. Like that. Okay. So that leaves us the towers. We can go on either side. But before I attach those, I want to do the front and these 2 side pieces. So this piece here is this one here. And I went through and did the embossing. So we have our brick. This tower here is this piece here glued on top of this one, the solid one, and I just snipped it off. You can see that one is that size, and I just cut it off the size. I just snipped that tab off because I don't need the tab since I'm not attaching it to anything. So let's see. So let's put this on first because this has to go over the door. So it slides over here, and you'll be lining up the holes. So that will go on here. Now this piece here is the larger one because it has the 1, 2, 3, 4 points on the top. The other one only has 3 points. So you want the one with the 4 points. That's what fits in the front of the castle here, like this. Now we'll put one on this side. Like this. This one will go on this side. You see, we're just working our way out. This one will go on here. So now this can get glued onto the end here. Like this. And this can go on the end like this. And then the part you're not using can get snipped off. There we go. And there is our castle. So let me snip this piece off. There we go. So now that can go on the front. And I will put the door on once I get this glued on because the door will sit flat. Because then we have to decide where we want to put the castle. That is hanging off a little bit, so let me move this over here and move this in a little bit. So maybe we'll leave this one here. That. And I'm going to pull this off and move this one in closer. There we go. To make it fit. To make it a little bit more stable, I'm going to glue the top of that tower to the roof. And the top of this tower to the roof. There we go. Here, let me flip this over, and anywhere this overlaps, let me put a little bit of glue. It's a little flimsy. In my head, this was all going to work. Now we just need to make sure it's going to work. Sometimes what you have in your head and what happens on a card are two different things. Here we are. That's a little better now. There we go. Now we fit. Okay, so now this can sit here. And our door will be in the front here. And we just have to decide how high up we want this castle. So let's put the castle on here. Let's run the wheel around. And let's see. I think we want to bring him down a little bit. Because we want to make sure we can see our dragon. So it will come up and he'll fly behind the castle. I think that will be good. We'll just bring the castle down to the second layer here, like that. Now, I think I want to put something in these windows now that I'm looking at this, or else it's going to look weird that there's grass behind those windows. Unless it looks like we're looking all the way through the castle. Let's see here. Is that going to look weird? That's going to look odd. Alright, so let me grab some scrap. Let's see, and this will be fine. So I'm just going to cut a piece. I'm not even measuring. I just want to cover this. So let's see. So we'll cover that. We will cover this piece. And we'll have a little piece cover here. So I'll put some glue. Remove my card base before I get that messed up. Put some glue here around the windows. And we will cover all this up. It's too big. We'll put that one there. This one here. And this one will be right here. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better. Much better. Alright, so now when we bring our castle down, our castle looks full. There we go. Alright, so let's glue our castle on. Let's see, how far up does the glue need to be? Almost to the top here. Alright, so our castle will be right here. Bring in our dragon. We'll glue this to the top. Now I think I do want to bring the dragon down some because I didn't make this stick blue for the sky. Let's bring our dragon down. Let's see what we have here. Now we have our dragon flying over the castle. Okay, now we're going to want to glue our door in here. Now, the question would be, do we want a path coming out from here to make it look like it's in the background? So what I want to do, I'm going to take a pencil and I am going to mark how wide this door is. Now I'm just going to take a line and draw a curve. And when I draw this curve, I want it to be wider the further I go down. So now I'm going to cut this. Probably cut it more like this. And like this. That. Have the path going this way. That looks good. Now let me bring in the honey mustard. And what we're going to do is I am going to ink this a little bit to make it look more like a dirt road. I'm going to leave the middle of it light and ink this up. Let's see. So now we'll have our path here, which will be down here, and our door, which will fit right in there like that. So what I want to do is Put some glue on here. I know I'm going to be cutting some of this off, but I'm going to cut it off after I put it on the card. Come down a little further with the glue. I'm going to slide it under the castle. There we go. Just like that. So now as the path is getting bigger, it makes it look like the castle is in the background. Now we glue down the door. That. There we go. Now we'll just cut this off. There's our path. Now our little knight can sit down here. It makes him look a little bit more proportionate because the path is getting bigger, so it kind of pushes the castle in the background and it brings our knight forward. Alright, so what else do I have left in this tray? I have a Happy Birthday, Brave Knight. Now, I don't want to leave this white, and I'm thinking, let's see, let's go with gray. So this is Moonlight Fog. Let me move this over, give myself some room here. Now you start off with your great big desk, and then you end up all small. Yep, this is the side I want. Now I printed this out on my computer, and that's why it's white. Because generally what I do is I do all my messaging on my computer. I'll make a shadow, and then I just ink it to whatever color I need. There we go. Now I'll put some foam on the back here. Maybe a little strip here. A little bit here. We don't want it saggy. Because I have 1/16 on the card, so here's another 16th. You are okay. Let's see, put that in the middle. Because 2/16 only gives you an 1/8, so you're still perfectly fine for the post office. There's our little knight. Now I'm going to put a little piece behind his head, but not anywhere else in his body, because what this does is when you glue down his feet, and his head pops up just a little bit like that, it makes him look not so flat, and it does actually make him look like he's standing up. It grounds him to the ground where his feet are, but then he's not stuck to the ground that should be behind him. And they just look a little bit better that way. So let's put a little bit of foam on here, and I'm still okay because I'm only 3/16 now. And you can go 4/16. Because 4/16 is a quarter. So when you use the 1/16 thickness of foam, you can go with 4 rows, and you're still good for the post office. So I think I'll put this here. I will put our little knight over here. I'll just glue down the bottom part of his body. So he'll be over here. Let me put a little behind his shield here. You know what? I think his shield, I'm going to put foam. Yeah, I don't want his shield to be stuck down. There we go. And see, that just makes him look a lot more dimensional. Looks like he's standing on the grass instead of stuck to the grass. And our little dragons, our little dragons flying around in the sky. So all I have left over here are some clouds. So I have some clouds. We'll put these in the sky. And these were part of the castle set. The 2 clouds are right here. Let me make sure the dragon's not going to hit them if I put them over there. Yeah, so let me put them over here, because that sky looks a little plain. Let's see, how far over does the dragon go? Alright, make sure that's all glued down so we don't get a catch point. There we go. And we can put a little cloud down here. Make sure we're still good. Put a third cloud. Make sure we're not catching. Nope, we're not catching. So maybe I can get away with one more cloud over here. Nope, it's going to catch on that. Make sure we're not catching. Okay, he's all good. Now, this looks a little plain to me, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these clouds and I'm going to cut them out of green and make them into little bushes. Let's see, I think I'll use this darker green here for the... I'm just going to cut out 2 of these real quick. Tape this down and run this through my machine real fast. Alright, so I cut them out twice. So now I have 4. Now let me show you how to turn clouds into bushes. Take your scissors, cut them in half. And lo and behold, you have bushes. Let's see, I'll trim this piece off here. Let's see, how do they all look? Let's see, I'll trim that one to there. That looks better. That one looks good. So now I can even layer these up a little bit. So I'll take a big piece and a little piece and line them up. And now you have a bush. Line that one up. A little glue on this side, put 2 of them together. Have a little bit of a bigger bush. But you can always take a cloud, cut it in half, make it a bush. That does not want to stick. Alright, a little bit more glue. So let's put our little pieces over here and see how that far this gets us. So now we can put this piece right here. And the little 2 piece can come over here. And let's see. Make one more grouping. That. Let me separate these a little bit more and put that in the middle. And here's our 3rd bush. There we go. That looks a lot better. Okay. Glue that down. Glue that one down. Bring it down far enough that it's sticking to the card, not floating in the air. So this one will need to come over here. This paper has a finish on it, which is making it a little slick. All right. There we go. So our front is now finished. Happy birthday, brave knight. And we go roundy roundy. Now if this is going to bother you that this is green here, I can take the brown marker. Let's see, I'm going to be brave and color that in. Alright, then I will take a gray, color that in. I think that needs to be darker. I think I'm just going to do this dark, whoops, wrong end. Color that in, color that in. There we go. So that is the front. Now for the inside, I have, to the bravest knight of the land, made you ride boldly into a year of epic adventures, fiery dragons, and shining victories, wishing you a birthday fit for a hero of the realm. Now I want to edge this a little bit, just to kind of finish it off. That. I think I will do the same thing to the green. And this is the same green, nope, it is a different green. Alright, so this is 3 by 5. This is 3.5 by 5.5. And we will glue these two together. This will go down here. And this will get glued down. On the inside. Just like that. And this card is finished. Happy birthday, brave knight. No catch points. And our little dragon flies around, and you can just put him in the card like that so he won't be hanging off. And then he'll fly all over the place. So I hope you liked this card by Karen Burniston, and if you did, give me a thumbs up. And please consider subscribing to my channel, because every week I will have more cards. Until next time, stay crafty.